In 1940, the people of Holland could celebrate 100 years of peace. Germany had promised to respect the neutrality of a country famous for her canals, her tulips, her clean cities, and her peace-loving people. This nation of 9 million had produced 9 Nobel Prize winners. Through the successful and peaceful management of their own country, the standard of living in Holland was raised until the Dutch death rate from natural causes was the lowest in the world. On the morning of May 10th, 1940, the Germans broke their treaty and the Dutch began to die from unnatural causes. The Dutch learned about modern warfare when all that was left of Rotterdam was smoking walls and open graves. The heart of their small country had been destroyed. The heart of the Dutch Empire, established by Dutch sailors and traders hundreds of years ago, reaching deep into the Pacific and Indian Oceans, an empire that was managed peacefully and profitably for both the colonizers and the natives. Education was encouraged. The peaceable natives retained their traditions, observing their ancient dances and customs until the Japanese, allies of the enemy that had destroyed Rotterdam and occupied Holland, attacked the outpost of the Netherlands Empire, swarming over the beaches and boundaries, overwhelming the native troops in the early days of Japanese surprise warfare. The government of the Dutch Empire escaped to London to carry on the war in exile under the leadership of Queen Wilhelmina. Other Dutchmen who had escaped made their way to Canada and began to study the weapons that would enable them to return home, while their countrymen who were unable to escape from occupied Holland carried on the dangerous underground work of sabotage. These soldiers hardened and drilled themselves for the day when they could fight their way back. And in the United States, at an airfield in Mississippi, Dutch flyers from all over the world train in P-40s to avenge the crime of Holland. This is a father and his son, separated up until now by the fortunes of war. Men from Suriname and Guyana, from Java and Curacao and Amsterdam. Men whose planes were shot from underneath them in the battles of the Malay Peninsula. Holland declared war on Japan immediately after Pearl Harbor. And these men destroyed one Japanese ship a day until their planes gave out.
We came to the United States for training and equipment. And in the near future, we expect to be able to take an active part in the heroic struggle of the United Nations for the liberation of Europe and Asia.
The Dutch are putting their training to use. These men are fighting. One of their missions is to patrol the vital sea lanes in the hunt for U-boats. Seafaring Dutchmen, the descendants of sailors who once ruled the seas of the world, patrol the coastal waters of the colonies. After fighting an heroic and losing battle off the coasts of Java, they continue to fight wherever the Allied High Command directs. Dutch anti-aircraft guns are bringing down a mounting toll of German planes. Dutch ships with Dutch crews carried American soldiers into the South Pacific. There were Dutch ships and Dutchmen at the landings in Africa and Sicily. And at the training camps in the United States, they continue to observe the customs of their homes. You take off your shoes to eat a rice taffel. Eating this dish takes skill and practice, and the ceremony reminds these Javanese flyers of their homes in Japanese-occupied Java. The ceremonial dances are the same, but the place is a Mississippi recreation hall and not an island in the east. These are the people of the Netherlands, members of a democratic commonwealth of nations, fighting and learning to fight. A peaceable people whose only road home lies across a battlefield.